Hey, Memphis Mafia kid, back this week with Dad. I know a lot of y'all's been asking about him, so I got him back, and we're going to answer some questions and talk about a few things.
Did Elvis ever go hunting or fishing?
Uh, Hunting, no, he hunted snakes, and that's about it. Fishing, he went a couple times as a kid, but that was this was not his thing, hunting and fishing at all. In fact, the only thing he hunted was, girls. And that's a good title, Girls, Girls, Girls. Now then.
Is there a secret tunnel under Graceland?
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Now that is one. Oh.
I've had this and asked a bunch of
See,
times.
I'm telling you, man, when he found out John Kennedy, president and all, had a tunnel built because he was supposedly seeing Marilyn Monroe, he'd sneak her in the tunnel also. Elvis, in the 60s, early 60s, he decided he'd have him a tunnel built off the washroom. When you come out of the pool room to the left, that's the washroom, and he had a tunnel built off of it. Boy, he used to sneak Marilyn in there and several others. And the bad thing of it was, yeah, that too. That's what somebody did, and it caved in, and they were trapped.
Yeah, if you hadn't guessed by now, he's pulling your leg.
And if that ain't a bunch of crap, no, he never did have a tunnel.
No, and we've had that asked, but that was a very good question.
What did Elvis like to watch on TV?
All kinds of stuff, man. I mean,
He liked football, I know.
He liked football. He liked Johnny Carson, Twilight Zone, several things.
Boxing.
Boxing, yeah, sure. A lot of sports.
When was the last time you went to Graceland?
Dad, I'll let you go ahead and answer that on yours, and then I guess I'll answer it on mine.
It was back before the war. No, the last time I was at Graceland was in '84, and when me and Graceland didn't quite see eye to eye, and I was working there, and they let me go, and I left, and I haven't been back.
Yeah. And not to, but it's another question on it since we're kind of on that subject that I've had and still have coming in, and I've answered it. But I'll let you go ahead and answer it, and maybe it'll get out there. Vernon evicted us or threw us out from Graceland, and I've told it, but you go ahead and tell everybody how that went.
That's totally bull crap. That's nonsense. What actually happened during that time was that we were security for the grave site. Dick Grove was head security, and we all, Al Strada and all of us, was working the grave site at different shifts. And at that time, I was having a lot of problems with the whole situation. Elvis had just died, and Joe, my wife, it bothered us. It bothers us really, really, really bad. I got to a point to where I was depressed, and every time I'd walk by Graceland, the back where his office was, I could almost see him up there, like waving at me or calling for me, and it just got more than I could handle. It really did. And I talked with Joe, and we decided, I had a chance to go back to the railroad, and I figured I didn't want to live at Graceland. And Joe said it probably would be good too, if we just left Graceland altogether and got away from it. And so I went back to work for the railroad, and we did move away. But I went out to the office where Uncle Vernon was, and I sat down and talked to him, and I told him, I said, it's just, I think it's a little more than I can handle. And I said, I'm going to go back to work for the railroad, and I hope you understand. He said, well, if you feel like you have to, and well, go ahead. And we left on real good terms. There was no booting me out or asking me to leave and nothing else. It was all my decision, and I think Uncle Vernon kind of hated it in a way, but you know, he knew that how I felt, and of course, you know, he was having to stay there. I mean, you know, it's his son; he couldn't leave. Not that he wanted to, but I had to get away. It was just that simple. Me and Joe both, we had to get away from it for a while, and so that's where that.
Yeah.
But he did keep our own.
Yeah, and I appreciate that good, honest answer on that, and I know it was touching and didn't mean to bring up memories and stuff, but I just thought we'd get that out there because it's been asked so many times.
Well, that was the truth of it, and you know, it was, you know, the way it went.
Next question, please.
That was the last question.
That was the last question?
You're
All
kidding.
right, well, with
Just-
that,
Just
hey,
3 little questions.
we've got
That was 4.
we've
Four?
got a couple of shout outs.
Who was shouting out?
Like, well, one I would like Stanley, and I'm going to try to pronounce your last name, Kozlowski. I know it's wrong. You know, if I got it wrong, brother, I apologize.
You
But hey,
have.
you're a
You-
good friend. Love that motorcycle, and
Thanks for dinner.
yeah,
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
dinner.
we really appreciate you, man. And anything we can do for you, hey, you know we'll
Also-
do it.
Also, I'd like to say, shout out to my friend Jerry Cochran, who lives in Houston, Texas. I've known Jerry ever since 1959. He's a good friend of mine, and I just wanted to shout at him and say hello.
Singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter.
Yeah, he come around. He come around a little bit with Elvis, right, and stuff.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he was
okay.
at Graceland a few times.
I was
And
just
his wife,
kinda-
Tony.
And his wife, Tony,
Yeah.
I don't want to leave her out either.
Okay.
And his kids.
Okay. And with that, the last thing I'd like to say, hey, to my mom's 2 sisters, my aunt, Carolyn Davis, Brenda Burtsell. I know them as my Nene and my Bren. Hey, love you. Thanks for watching. And with that being said, what do we always say, dude?
We always live
Live
Elvis.
Elvis.